Did you know you can blacklist specific Office 365 passwords for your organization? Let's get right into it. So we all know users often create passwords that meet the complexity length requirements in order to create passwords. For example, an organization's name and the year date. For example, organization 2020. So yes, theoretically, this does meet the complexity length requirements. However, this password is prone to dictionary attacks. So if you are an administrator for Office 365 or Azure AD, I'll show you a way how you can blacklist specific passwords within your organization to help improve your security posture from an identity perspective. So before we get into any of the configurations, let's just take a moment to understand exactly what we're going to do in this demo. So what we're going to do first is we're going to confirm that a standard user in Office 365 can make use of a simplistic password, which in this case will be Organization 2020. Next, we are going to configure Office 365 to blacklist that specific password. And lastly, we are going to confirm that the solution is working by resetting the user's password and then trying to make it Organization 2020 again, and it should fail. So without further ado, let's head over to the portal. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to sign into portal.office.com with my user account adelv@myorganizationname.com, and you will see this is my demo tenant, and this will be a normal user account. So what we're going to do is we're going to sign in with a basic password that I have created for this account, and we are going to change it to Organization 2020. So just for context, this is my normal username, and this is the password that I'm going to use now to sign into this account. So let's go ahead and sign in. Alright, so now that we have successfully signed in, let's see if we can change this user's password to Organization 2020. So at the right hand top side, we're going to click on this user and we're going to say view account. And we're going to choose the password tile here and we're going to say change password. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up our password sheet, which is definitely a big no-no, but let's give it a go. And what we're going to do is we are going to change the password to Organization 2020. And here you can see that Office 365 consider this a strong password based on the password length, when it comes to complexity. So you always should have MFA enabled. However, this demo is more focused on, you can blacklist specific passwords for Office 365 users. So let's go ahead and click on submit. And then we can see that it has successfully changed the password to Organization 2020. So what we're going to do now is we're going to configure to blacklist that specific password Organization 2020 for our organization. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the Azure portal now. So you'll see I'm signed into my Azure portal as an administrator, and now we're going to configure to blacklist that password. So just a quick note that Azure AD and Office 365, they share the identities. So you can manage user identities via the Azure AD portal, but also the Office 365 admin portal. So for example, if you create a user in Azure AD, it will show up in Office 365. And for example, if you delete a user in Office 365, it will be removed from Azure AD as well, because it's tied to the same tenant. So for this specific use case, if you want to blacklist passwords, you will have to do it via the Azure AD portal. So let's go ahead and configure to blacklist this password Organization 2020. So what we're going to do is you will see I'm signed into my portal.azure.com as a global admin, and I'm going to click on Azure Active Directory. And we're going to scroll down under Manage. We are going to choose Security. And under Manage again, we are going to choose Authentication Methods. And what we're going to do now is Password Protection. And here we can see we've got a nice blade here where we can configure, custom banned passwords, account lockout duration, stuff like that. But the key focus for this video is, custom banned passwords, and we're going to enforce a custom list. And it's important to note that in order to do this effectively, you will need an Azure AD P1 license to do this. I've already assigned the P1 license to all of my users, so we're good on that front. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say enforce a custom list, and we're going to say yes. And we're going to paste in our password that we want to blacklist, and that will be organization 2020. So let's go ahead and paste this in here, and we're going to click on save. Just a quick note that you can also do password protection for, on-premises Active Directory, and there's some settings here as well. However, the focus of this video will be, cloud-only identities. All right, so now that we have blocked, this specific password, let's head over to the Office 365 Administrator portal, and we're going to reset our user's password back to this default password of ours. And then we're going to sign into that account, and let's see if we want to change the password for that user to Organization 2020, if the system will allow us. So let's go ahead and sign into portal.office365.com and sign in as our global admin. I'm signed into portal.office365.com as a global admin, and I have clicked on the administrator tab. And what we're going to do now is we're going to search for active users, and we're going to choose Advanced. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose a reset password. And here we have two options. We have auto-generate password, or let me create the password. So if we choose auto-generate password, it will give us a temporary password, and then the user will have to change the password, or we can just assign a specific password to a user. So let's go ahead and let me create the password. And let's choose this password that we used before. And we're going to say that the user can keep that password for now, and let's go ahead and click on reset password. Alright, now the only step that is remaining is to confirm that the configurations we have made on the tenant, that it takes effect on all of the users within that tenant. So what we're going to do now is we're going to close all of the signed in tabs for Advanced, and we're going to sign in fresh, and we're going to sign in with our username and our temporary password. And as soon as we have signed in, we're going to change that password. So let's go ahead and do that now. And we're signed in. So what we're going to do is we're on the upper right hand corner, we're going to click on view account. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on change password. We're going to bring up our notepad again. So this is our current password. And we want to change it to Organization 2020. So we have configured the tenant to block it. So let's see if it actually takes effect. And let's click on submit. And voila, there you go. We get greeted by a lovely red info block that says, unfortunately, you can't use that password because it contains words or characters that has been blocked by your administrator. Please try again with a different password. So that means that in essence, we have blacklisted successfully a specific password for the entire organization. And there you have it, guys. Now you know how to successfully blacklist specific passwords within your organization with regards to Office 365 and Azure AD. If this video was in any way informative or helped you in any way, please consider subbing to this channel where we will update you with even more good technology updates.